take that hood off. Yes, the hood is off. The show is live. This is the 365 Message Center. Yeah, it's Daryl as a service and Daniel Glenn at the 365 Message Center. Good morning,
That's
good
right.
afternoon, good evening, good now. How are you, Dan?
I'm
Daniel.
good. I'm coming to you live from my works bunker. This is, so we can focus on the task at hand. So that's why I'm here.
Your
You
cone
might
of
hear an echo
silence.
too. Yeah.
All right. No, that's good. I have an interesting one at one of my co-working spaces. You might have seen it on my Facebook header.
Mm.
It's wallpapered with the kind of wallpaper you can color in, and they've got some pens there. It's quite artsy. Very
Ooh.
cool. Yeah, I know. And therapeutic too. If you wanted to just take a break from what you're working on in front of you, you just grab a pen and just quietly color in one of the sections of the wallpaper.
Nice.
I might, I reckon that'd do quite well in here. Yeah. Anyway, on with the show. Now, last week we had Anna Chu on, and we talked a lot about a kind of a recap, I guess, of the Microsoft Ignite and a particular theme around the attitudes and change of the IT Pro and how the event landed.
Yep.
That was good having Anna on, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I really do appreciate her taking some time off of her trip and sharing it with us. It was exciting to surprise you with my, guest. So it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Now, today we're also joined by Suzanne Hunt. Hey, Suzanne. Suzanne's down from, she is in New Zealand. So she gets up at the same crazy time as I do. Sarah Huzzy. Hello, Sarah and Max, Fritz, and Phil Worrell. Ian Moran. Hello.
Hello, Ian.
I once we get like a gap in the show, I'll manage to grab the URL for the live chat so we can display that in our stream as well. But
Just
good morning,
just take
everyone.
it when I get on a soapbox, because there is something, and I'm going to throw a curveball at you. There
You
is
are?
something we need to do. Yes, and I'll send
I
it
think I
to
know
you
which one.
via. Yeah, it's
I think I know which one.
the index, the search schema thing.
Oh no, I was thinking of something else, but it's all right. It's all right. Let's spin into it
Oh no,
now.
there's something else I should be on a soapbox about.
Yeah, I
Great.
know. No, well, maybe that's my soapbox. I don't know. It's actually someone else's soapbox. I've seen the community react to this and really just
Mm.
sort of make us aware and be cautious about the effects of this announcement. Let's get into starting from the bottom. We are going to cover some things that we didn't look at last week because we were, talking with Anna and getting some reactions there. In fact, this is we're starting on the soapbox, Dan. We are.
Oh,
We are.
okay.
Check this out. Check this out. And you would have noticed this if you are on the monthly updates for Office Pro Plus, and you've seen this switch up in your top left-hand corner for some time. It is the auto save feature, and this announcement comes as a general availability and a major update because it is turned on now by default. Dan, tell us what is the effect of autosave if you have it switched on?
Yeah, so autosave does just what it says, which in the Microsoft world is an anomaly, I think, sometimes. But you're able to, when you're working in your Office document, it automatically is saving in the background your changes. And so this gives you the ability to, you're not having to click save, you're not having to, do Control S to save your document. It just saves it automatically. That's what it does.
What does it enable? I think it enables
Yeah.
a greater
It,
experience for co-authoring.
it
Yeah.
does. Co-authoring is the biggest thing that it enables, because you can think about how, if you and I are working on a document and we're both working on the same time, then you do something, I need to be able to see it. And so that's what's happening. It's auto saving that information. So I then get it, and it's happening, that quickly.
What else does it do? I think it also means that we can roll back and restore things if we need to
That's
quickly. So there are some things we've been getting in 365 which we're encouraged to leave on by default, such as keeping many versions of a document, not to limit that. And I think this is all part of giving us that ability to restore things if we ever need to. However, what are the downsides to this capability? If you're working on a spreadsheet, a document, and you're co-authoring with someone, or you are needing to make a change and you kind of want to control that. You don't want it to just, be there and available and appear. You'll have to consciously switch this off, won't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You will. And frankly, I don't know that that's a bad thing, but it is a switching of a mentality. It is not, and there's another thing too. It's, I don't know if other people do this, but you have a document that you want to take a copy of. So I do presentations, and a lot of times, I might be doing the same presentation at another event or another client, and so I want to make some changes to it, but save it as a different document so that I kind of have a record of what exactly I was presented at that whatever it was. There is a functionality called Save a Copy. And if you don't do that immediately, then, if I go in and start changing the title and I change slides or whatever the Word document, then I'm making changes to the document that I used beforehand, right? So it's auto-saving all of those changes. So it's very important to remember, it's just this change management, right, is when I open that document, I need to save a copy to wherever I want it and then do my work. So I think that's kind of the same mentality. You're going to have to switch your mentality of, okay, how do I do this? How have I been doing this? And now I'm going to have to do it differently. So this is a big one to keep mindful of and to know is there. Because if you don't train your users that this is different, this is not the same. This is not your father's office. I don't know. Anyway.
I've always thought that saying was quite interesting, especially with technology, which is, so 15, 25 years old.
Right.
I guess we're getting to that point, Dan, where our fathers, we are the fathers. I
don't know what you're talking about. I'm not old. I don't know what you're talking about.
And our kids are using web
Get off my lawn.
Okay. Grandfathers then. All right. Grandfather's office. Look, hey, the chat room is reacting. Yes, so it is a new behavior. It's a very common use case to cover off. But I think there are advantages. It's just you need to be aware of what's going on when that with that capability. Let's keep moving along. We have Microsoft Secure Score features. So we do have a couple of people from the Regarding 365 team who focus on security, and like Jethro Seegers, Mark surname, sent into surname here. Sorry, dude. Who encourage us to go through and check out that secure score, because not only can you see where you need improvements, but it also leads you through to do just that. So there are a couple of things here. I actually, looking at this announcement, I thought that some of these things were kind of already there. We've got
well, and I think that's right. They're already there, but then there's some that's not, and they are really, this notice is, I think, more about, hey, your scores are going to change as we roll in new functionality, right? Because if we're looking at something at another criteria to generate your score, then if you're looking at your score today and then look at it next week, it may be different, and you did nothing differently, right? We're just adding new functionality or new criteria for our score creation, and so you need to pay attention to that. That's the way I read this. It was, yes, there's stuff that's already there, and then there's additional little items, but this is more about, hey, your score is going to change over time, especially if you're not, and that's something we need to keep in mind, is that you can't set it up and forget it. And we talk about this for services and all that in Office 365, but you can't do it as a service as a whole either, right? You can't set up your policies and then say, I'm done, because your score is probably going to go down over time as they add additional functions and features that you need to be maintaining and making secure. Anyway, so that's kind of the way I approached this message.
Right. Yeah. Well, some of these new things, or rather things that have been added to secure score that are now so valuable that we really should be standardizing and doing something about it. Blocking risky OAuth applications, detecting anomalous. Try and say that 3 times fast. Anomalous.
Malicious.
I probably
said anonymous. Right.
Yes. Anonymous. Activity. See, I'm not even saying it right anyway. Logging in from different locations, like Daryl's just signed in to his portal from New Zealand, and hello, half an hour later he's signing in from Bulgaria for some reason. Is that a country still? Bulgaria? Sorry, I just...
Sure.
Yep. Eastern Bloc, things change. Yeah, I mean, but like you said, score will change. So it's not going to change for the positive, though, is it? As we add new features, and as an industry, we believe that it's important enough to do something about it as a standard security practice. Things are going to be added. Your score will be lower if you do nothing.
Right.
Actually, this is one point where I just want to mention quickly. There is a update coming. I believe they haven't changed their mind about this, but the global administrators within Office 365 will have multi-factor authentication turned on by default. And so you will be guided through to setting that up. I recommend that you go ahead and do that ahead of time. And I've done that recently because I've noticed a new capability on the Apple Watch where I can respond to those prompts without having to get my phone out of my pocket. So I quite like that. Just keep that in mind. We'll see another message soon.
Yeah, and it's great because with the announcements of going on this at Ignite about this, not using a password, the password becoming a thing of the past. Well, not really, but anyway, this is kind of that functionality that I really like it when you sign in and your phone prompts you, click here if this is really you, rather than having to go through that process. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we'll get Jethro or Mark or both on to talk about that, because when you say that, are we really going to be not needing passwords, or passwords don't have to be that complex? That is the beauty of it. It's actually quite amazing that you think about it. If you have something with you, and no one else is going to have that thing with you, then your password can be shorter and easier to remember. But it won't be the only thing that allows you in. You've got to have the key. You've got to have the token generator or receiver. Very cool.
Yep.
Oh, hey, someone's got some good scores there. Ian, MFA rocks with Authenticator and Apple Watch, totally. Death to passwords. And Stephen has a secure score, is now out of 800, and the average is still 27.
Wow.
Nobody's doing anything about it. Let's get on a crusade. Let's be secure.
We need to keep moving, Daryl, because we've got a lot to talk about, and I still need to get on my soapbox about something. So let's go.
Okay. Well, I'm sparing the audience from the soap.
No, they're here to see me on the soapbox.
Oh, okay. Outlook for Windows now blocks external content in SMI messages, so that's good. We don't.
Well, it's by default. I mean, that's the biggest thing I think is blocking. Even if it's encrypted, it's blocking those external images and such that are coming in. This is another security thing that we all want to know, that the email's coming from a trusted source, and that when I
Yep.
click on something, it's not going to lead me to malicious places.
Yeah, yeah, or even like say, oh, yep, this address is live. I'll add it to my list and sell it.
Right.
Teams, new calls, app button location in Teams, meaning what? That they've moved the call button to another place? I think that's about it.
Yeah, basically, and I think that this is bringing in kind of positioning those announcements that we got at Ignite about the calling and such for Teams. Just kind of moving stuff around. Again, this is one of those things that it's like, oh, this is something little, but this really is one of those, you got to keep your users up to date on what's going on, and that that things are going to be moving, because if you don't, then I think a lot of times users can find stuff, but if it's too difficult to find it where it's moved to, they get frustrated, and you're going to get a help desk ticket or get complaints. So
I think it takes me back to our talk at Ignite with our friend about what's worthy of the message center or not. Where some product groups can get a message in like this that says we're moving a button ahead of time, and others don't.
Yep.
It's there, it's done.
And I think what we learned about the process is that if the group doesn't create the announcement, then it won't get posted.
Mm-hmm.
So if Teams obviously here has said, hey, we got this new location for new calls, and calling is a very important functionality for our product. We need to let people know about it. So let's create this, and it gets filtered, it gets modified, all that, but it eventually ends up there. But if something moves in another product, say, let's pick on Skype, why not? Because nothing's going to ever move there ever again. Anyway, so something happens there, and the team doesn't create, the product group doesn't create the announcement, then it's not going to make it to the message center. So I think that's another thing to keep in mind, is that we can't say, well, Teams is more important than SharePoint because things move in SharePoint and we don't get an announcement. Well, somebody has to create the announcement.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
And then I think the trend is going to be moving to, right, well, we have a message center, but you'll also be able to see SharePoint specific messages in their own admin center for those who just have the admin role. Remember us talking about that earlier too. Let's keep on moving. We have updating the look of the Office 365 desktop apps. Now,
and this is something we talked about, right? I mean,
it wasn't long after getting back from Ignite that or I think it was even during Ignite, Outlook desktop allowed us to use that new look and try it on. Are you using it, Dan?
Yes.
You are. Let me see if I can safely fire this up and move to a folder that isn't full of sensitive. Daryl, your credit score is. Let's just leave that in the background. But I mean, what I do like about it is it's the first hint of what our new menu is going to look like. So we're seeing that in Outlook, and in the other applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, we're seeing the. There we go.
Oh no, we can see everything.
Oh no. Let's drop my face over on that side there. It's really this key thing here is your menu along the top. It is a compact menu. Which is still, the full ribbon menu is still there and available. Don't panic, people. It's right there. We can expand it. But this is showing us the key functions and features just along the top. And it's using the, what do you call it? The is it called fluid design? Where you've got your line art and it scales nicely and it's all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep. All good. So there's that, and so the compact menu is only available in Outlook at the moment because you can turn that capability on up at the top right-hand corner. I haven't clicked on coming soon, but I think that'll take you through to a page telling you a bit more about what's coming soon. And then the rest of Office is just, it's the full ribbon menu with this line art, which I quite like. It's quite refreshing. All right, so that was reasonably safe. What's next? Have we got to your soapbox yet?
No.
Oh, come on. All right, racing on through. Conditional access for non-compliant devices. So being able to to block devices if they don't meet the certain conditions. Gradually working out worldwide. So there's some of these capabilities which you do have to start making use of different features of Microsoft 365, and maybe you do need an E5, but this protects corporate data and restricts the ability for users to download attachments from email if you're on a machine that is not compliant. So, company machine, yes, you can download. Wife's laptop, no, because it's not a company machine. Internet cafe, do we still have those? Yeah. Yes, you can't download.
Yes, we do.
We do. All right. So that's blocking the download of attachments. Important. And that's with the power of Office web apps as well. So it's not just, well, more importantly, yes, it is Office web apps. You're hardly going to go and set up Outlook on an internet cafe just so you can download your attachment. I hope you don't. That is it in our list for this week. Let's
great.
Drop that.
Everybody get ready.
Here it comes.
Get ready.
All right, hang on. I'll give you the whole screen. Here's your soap box.
I need to share something too.
Oh, you do? That's
yeah,
good.
because you're not sharing it.
All right, go ahead.
Share my desktop. Where's my soapbox screen? There it is. So, people, I have had so many issues with clients trying to get solutions put together for them that relied on adding metadata columns to document libraries and then searching for that content in those libraries. Are you seeing my screen, Daryl?
Correct. I'm not going to request control either. That would be bad.
I'm going to zoom in for everybody. So finally, I've asked my clients to create help desk tickets, service tickets with Microsoft, reporting this, trying to figure out what's going on. And then finally, we have Microsoft acknowledging there is an issue. It is SP148978. Issues 79. Sorry, I said 8, didn't I? Issues with the search schema settings. So basically, when you're making updates to the search schema, you're not able to. What happens with SharePoint, if you create a site column, for instance, and then want to reuse that site column in document libraries or lists, then when you create that site column initially, it actually adds it to the search schema for you automatically. Well, now it's not. It's not doing that, and you're creating them and they're not showing up. And so your solutions don't work. You can't search for content in those columns in libraries and lists. Now, okay, we're in this world where things break because they put code in and it breaks something else. My soapbox is not about you should be testing your stuff, okay? Because things are going to happen. I totally get it. My soapbox really is that we've got the start time of when they acknowledged. Now, I think we opened up a ticket before then, but when they acknowledged there was an issue on the 21st of September. What my soapbox is this line right here is that they're going to estimate that they're going to have the thing fixed October 19th, which is a full 11 days from now. Okay, so this is almost an entire month where if you're relying on using columns or other changes into the search schema, it's not going to work. And this is a huge impact. This is not small. I know a lot of people are using, are working in creating solutions that rely on the search schema, and this is really unacceptable. I'm sorry, but and I haven't really said this about Microsoft in a long time, but this really is unacceptable to go on this long. And then it was brought up, and I think it was Phil actually brought up on Twitter when we were kind of like, wait a minute, there's an issue. that's been posted is that search wasn't part, and at least initially wasn't part of the SLA for SharePoint. And holy cow! So this thing is going to be in effect down. We can't do anything with it for an entire month. Plus, if it's true, now I got to go back and check if it's included. But plus, you don't get any financial reimbursement with what you do with other services. So if like your email's down, you can open up a ticket and say, I want money back, and Microsoft to give it to you in Office 365. Well, this is a huge problem if not only it's going to be down for almost a month, but it's also sorry about your luck is all you're going to be told. I mean, this is huge. And put it on top of that is the emphasis that we talked about last week even, but that was at Ignite about Microsoft Search and this focus, this renewed focus on finding your content and making search easy and usable. Well, we can't even update the search schema in SharePoint right now for a whole month. Have I mentioned that it's going to be not working for a whole month? Have I mentioned that?
So that's about a month, right? So not quite a month.
2 days short of a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we could maybe do some calculation. Maybe it's a February month. Right?
Oh, yeah. Like 28 days, not a...
If someone's going to argue that it's not a month because it's 2 days shy...
Well, can I ask you something, Dan? Is this only affecting new columns that you create or existing columns?
No, I think it's only affecting new. So this is changes. So this is not, at least I haven't seen any issues with ones that are already there. But this basically means you can't do anything new until you have to just sit and wait until they actually fix it. So I'm not very happy about this because it actually is putting two different projects on hold for me, and others on Twitter were commenting, I guess my project's on hold now because I've been, this is the only thing left to accomplish the project. Now we got to put it on hold, which affects contracts, which affects, timing, scheduling. I mean, it just, I get it. Again, I'm not complaining about that there is an issue. I'm complaining that it's taking a whole month to fix it.
Yeah, look, hey, the chat room's going nuts about it too.
Oh, good. I can see the chat.
Sarah, critical gap. Critical gap, Phil. Clients are going to hate implementing search-based solutions as a result. What a shame. Sandy, it's true. Actually, I think Sandy said earlier in the chat that she was wondering, really, I've been struggling with this for a week, and is this why? Like so search-driven solutions, there's the advantages of them, that you set them up and you let them go, and basically as long as people are encouraged to put in the right metadata, and people do when they add things to lists, they're great. But and
there is another one that's not, I don't think it's related, it's not related, but if you're using modern pages, what I was just describing is modern or not, but if you're using modern pages to display news and you're filtering those, you can only have one web part on the page that is filtering news. If you're using multiple filters of news items, the second ones won't save your filters. So you'll go, oh, I'm going to add a new news web part that's filtering it based upon whatever content, metadata, whatever. When you go to save it, you're like, oh, great. Well, it didn't save it if you go back. So it's a bug that's going to be fixed too. So I did want to mention that. But I'm off my soapbox, I guess. But it's I'm very frustrated with the timing that it's not being shown. I don't know. I can't say it's not being given the urgency that it requires because I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just a very complicated issue. But I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. Let's hope that things that get more priority for fixing that up. That wasn't supposed to open on that screen. Sorry about that, Dan. Your face was just covered by an appointment with the Microsoft Whiteboard people that we tried to get that live. There we go. Do come along. This is if you remember, we tried to connect with Ian Micketel and March Rogers before Ignite to try and go through the Microsoft whiteboard. We even tried to connect with Ian at Ignite and just didn't manage to get our ducks in a row, or maybe our whiteboard pens in a row. But we're going to be able to connect 3 countries, 4 time zones, and Luis Fries is also going to be able to make it, so we can try and get some scribbles, some sketch notes.
So isn't that 4 countries?
Huh? No,
Wouldn't that be 4 countries then?
Well, Ian and yourself are in the same country.
Okay.
Yep. And then there's Luis in Germany, Daryl in New Zealand, March in Ireland. Okay, 4 countries.
Could you say the words for me, please? Say Daniel, you were.
Okay, yeah, Daniel, you're right.
Yay! Once for the whole week. That's wonderful.
Yep. I'm okay with that. Yeah, but what I was saying is we're going to update that live event, so do keep an eye out for that, because they've got a really good demo sorted, and if you remember, we tried to get it working, and there was some fun happening in some data centers somewhere that prevented that from happening. Skadoosh.
Cool.
All right. So that is the show for the end of the for this week. And thanks to everyone who joined us, man. There was quite
great crowd.
Yeah.
All fantastic people too.
Definitely. With tons of opinions and experience, and love being able to share that. So we at the 365 Message Center show would like to continue to do that. We're going to get back into some short interviews with people telling their stories, their thoughts, and their reactions. So because you all stuck your hand up and wrote something in the Message Center, the IM, the chat, you've all volunteered.
We didn't tell you that before, but
you will get a call, including you, Suzanne.
We're going to send you a fine time so you can pick when you want to.
No, including Suzanne Hunt, of course.
Yes.
No, the good thing about this is that we can pre-record and play and then talk about it. So we'll do it at your leisure. All right. So that was the show. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.